Hi, my name is Keenan Hardard. I'm a biology professor from Minnesota State University, Mankato. I do cancer research and biology education research. So in today's video, we're going to look at Graph Inspector, mainly a tool that we're going to be able to use in multivariable Prism graphs, and see how the kind of the interactive setups allow us to scroll through different variables in multivariable. Because remember, we're going to load in a lot of our data, and this is going to allow us to kind of scroll through some of that data and say like, hey, what about if this was the x-axis and that was the y? What if I change the y-axis to these data right here, right? We're also going to be able to see the kind of the new setup for multivariable edits on the right and see how that's going to be different than our usual stuff, but it's going to be a little more like in real time changes that's going to help us out a bunch. So as we transition into here, let's go to multivariable. Let's import our own data into here. Perfect. I'm going to go to my spreadsheet, grab my data, and as usual, what you want to do is make sure that all your data is kind of set up correctly. So like I have an ID that was a number, so that thought that was continuous. I have to make sure that that's good. All right, all these are looking good. Got to make sure that this is continuous. So notice that if I had students that did a W, they would be gone, for example. So I have to make sure that says continuous so that it knows its numbers. And then we have semester. Nice. Okay. So if I wanted to create a graph, for example, just like this, and I have all these data, and I'm going to actually want to be able to kind of change up what I do. This is what I'm going to graph on. Perfect. I'm going to skip the heat maps. I'm going to say like, maybe how did exam one go versus exam two? And I can say like, hey, maybe I'm going to look at attendance and maybe I'm going to say like, hey, how much did you have high work commitments or not? All right. So the standard setup's going to show up right here. Everything's looking good. I can make a lot of changes just up here. I'm gonna have to move myself right in here in real time. So if I want to say like, hey, what if I wanted to say high attendance is actually going to be more of like a positive thing, and that's going to happen right in real time. I can say, hey, let's get some symbol borders in there. Kind of like how this is going so far. Let's say though over here on the right, I want to say like, I want to say like high work commitments. Let's kind of make this a bigger difference right there. And let's say low work commitments could be, let's make this a little smaller in this case. Yeah, maybe just one of those. So given here too, you can also adjust the axes in a different format than the usual. So if I push more right here, this will take me to the standard setup screen that we're all used to in this case. Oh, here it comes, loading in a bit. There we go. So typically, again, you can make all the changes if you want using this format, but again, you'll have to do that, click apply, see how it looks. What if instead we just said like, hey, let's actually say that on my X, I've got some good intervals here, but hey, I want to make sure that, if this is exam one, let's say that the max is 110, even though it's not. So I want some buffer room there. I want the interval at 20. So see how this is all going pretty well right here. And it's happening all in real time. So I really don't have to bother a ton with, clicking, hit apply, hit OK. So this interaction right here is looking pretty good. And each time it's going to kind of auto set up in that sense. So with the y-axis, again, I can also do something, I'd say a bit similar in this case. I'm going to say, again, want my max to maybe be 110. Still like the interval being 20, same as what I just saw. Minor ticks, same for me right there. That might be more minor ticks than the other one. I think it's all right. Nice. And so now I have a nice setup. I can kind of visualize my high attenders versus my low ones. I can visualize my high commitment people versus my lower commitment people. This is actually looking pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Now, in this case, again, you can do some details here. Like if you need to reverse the axes like I did, or sorry, the legends like I did right there, this is the perfect chance to do that. You can also do kind of some of the key setups with this if you want to add like anything else. Now the shapes itself, we're not going to do the page. If you want to change the background or change the entire color scheme, for example, you definitely can. Again, I'm not a huge person that likes putting stuff in the background a ton, but some of these good color schemes, like we've seen in some of the other videos, completely available right here to just auto click, and you're going to be good. I'm going to go back to my colors that I had though, because I was pretty partial to these at this point. Get rid of that. All right. Oh, too much. There we go. And then this is going to say, hey, 4 rows are missing for some of these data because remember, like some of these did not have an exam two score. They just got kicked out because they can't get plotted. All right. So in this case, I would say like, I would rename this like E1 versus, E2. And this is everybody in this data set, all 252 students. Let's say though that I wanted to, I want to say I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate this sheet right here. I'm gonna say, let's say I want to do exam one, exam one versus two, but I want to do it on the different semesters. So I'm gonna go ahead and rename this, and I'm gonna say semesters versus exam one, exam two. Okay. So now looking on here, I still have all the real-time setups over here that I want. Perfect. But let's say that I do, maybe I need to kind of change what I'm after in this case. So if I do double click these, for example, you can do the standard setup that we've always done, which is like, hey, I want to choose the variable that I want to be in color. I'm actually going to say, hey, I kind of want the semesters to be the variable now. Okay. And that's fine. And that's going to set me up nicely with these. And again, I can go nicely and do some color schemes in here. Probably want to get that transparency up to match at 50 like we just had. And again, all real time, but I've still got this setup looking pretty good. Nice. And now I can kind of see a visualization as well of how everybody's doing in terms of, again, I still have work commitments over here lined up as the size in real time, but now I can kind of see my semesters looking pretty neat. So the title also changed automatically for me based on down over here. Kind of nice, right? So next thing I want to do, and this is the main part of this video that's really neat, go up here to choose a different type of graph, which usually when we do this with the other setups, it's like, oh, you're going to choose all these different, formats, bubbles, lines, things like that. But watch this. So all the stuff, instead of pre-selecting all the X and Y's that you need, you know what? Let's say that I want to change this really quickly to say like, hey, I want to see exam one actually versus exam three. That's going to change that data right away. And let's say bubble color. You know what? I want to go back to attendance. Give me back attendance. We're going to see that. Or give me back commitments maybe on here. And maybe we would take commitments down to, let's say, number of reviews, like were they high or low, right? Look at what I've got going on here in real time adjusting for me. And even just like this, even though like I've named this, the exam two versus exam one, I can say, you know what, like I kind of I want to scroll through some of these other variables in here and see kind of what else I can cook up. And actually, look, I almost made a mistake where GPA, I left it as a category. That is actually a continuous. So let's go back right here. I'm gonna go right about here. And now I can basically edit in real time live whatever I want in this little bubble right here. And I don't need to disturb my data and like double click everything. So let's say I actually want to say like, hey, like what's going to be a GPA in this case versus I want to say exam one. I'm going to go ahead and click over here. Now notice, since I said I did not give it an auto interval, I have to go back to auto interval over here and kind of make sure that things are good again. So in this case, I would actually say like, yeah, maybe I would actually kind of want to spread these out just a tad. Give me a little more on here. Maybe give myself like a 4.5. Maybe start at there's, yeah, what is that? What is that, a 1.5 or yeah, I think I just cut one off though. Did I? Nope, there it is. I'm gonna keep that. Perfect. All right. Now I can kind of see something like this. And again, there's some clicking over here and such, but look how it just auto adjusted to whatever I wanted. So the real time capabilities of these are intense. And I just love it because it really gives me good, really quick pictures, especially when I'm trying to compare all these variables against each other. And I really do just want to see some relationships because I know, like you, I probably use Prism a lot just to say, like, hey, what's it look like this? What does it look like this? What does it look like this? And that is one of the top ways we can see. And even using this color right here, I can kind of see, for example, a lot of my high commitment people from fall 23, they're the ones they kind of had like a different relationship, I'd say, than the blue and the purple in this case. But I absolutely love this feature. I could go on and keep copying this graph and keep making new stuff, but we all have places to be. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you on the next video.